Hello, and welcome to Faith and Family. My name is Gene Williams, and this is my wife of almost 20 years, Onika Williams, and we are the Children's Ministry Directors here at Destiny Church in Chester, Virginia. So, Onika, 20 years we've been married, almost 20 years we've been married.
It'll be 20 years in June.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So
We were 16 years old when we met.
that's right. We were 16 years old many years ago, back in Hampton, Virginia. So we have 3 kids together. Our oldest, Ayana's 16, Alyssa is 13, and Anthony just turned 12. So myself, I'm in outside sales, and you, in addition to your responsibilities here with the children's ministry, you also homeschool our children, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So, we've been homeschooling 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's been fun. It's been hard at times. I think a lot of people can relate because they were accidental homeschoolers this year, but all in all, it's been good. It's been really good.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, before we get too deep into our show, why don't we let the people know a little bit more about ourselves? Not like the basic stuff everybody talks about, but maybe some of our preferences. And it wouldn't really be a church show or an event without a good icebreaker, right?
That's right. You love those icebreakers.
Yeah, my favorite part. Right. So why don't we do a little game of either or?
All right.
You up for that?
Yeah, I'm game.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll start with how about coffee or tea?
It's coffee. I love Starbucks. Good coffee, not cheap coffee.
Okay, excuse me, you bourgeois. Myself, personally, I don't drink coffee, so I'm more of a tea person, everything. Maybe one day when I grow up, I might start drinking coffee. Well, let's move on to our next one. How about donuts or cake?
Cake, definitely cake. I like donuts, but cake.
Yeah, I don't have a preference in this one. Pretty much anything sweet I'll eat, so I guess it just depends on.
You will eat. You eat a lot of sweet.
I used to eat a lot of sweets.
Yeah. My mom used to call you the Cookie Monster because when we were dating,
True.
we were 16.
True.
You eat like a whole pack of cookies.
True, rightfully so. Yes, I did. Yes, but my metabolism has slowed down a lot.
Slowed down a little bit.
Although I did eat a whole pack of Oreo cookies.
Yes, you did.
I had a headache for the rest of the night, but anyway. How about this one? It's a controversial one here.
All right.
Let's see. How about iPhone or Android?
Android, just because I don't like change. I'm trying to get better at that. So I've had a Galaxy forever.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about crossing over into the iPhone territory,
you're a traitor.
maybe.
I see. No loyalty. Well, all our kids, they're all team iPhone. They're fanboys. And me and you have both been Android for many years. And I see you. But you are recently have been thinking about joining the dark side and going over to iPhone. That's right. So, okay. Well, that's okay. We all make mistakes in life. How about, I know the answer to this one. Movies or books?
Definitely books. Books all the way. I'll read all the time. I'll read to the kids. I just love to read.
Yes.
I don't really like movies because they kind of mess me up.
Yes.
I can't sleep after I watch them and all that kind of stuff. So, you know that.
Yeah. And I'm definitely movies. And if you ever received a gift from us that was a book, know that it came from Onika because I do enjoy the value of books and having books in the house, but I'm much more of a movie person than I am books. So, but how about last one more?
All right.
Okay. How about going out or staying in the house?
Definitely staying home. I'm a super homebody. You know that I can stay home all the time. I love just being with the family, being with you guys, reading a book and drinking some coffee.
Yeah. No, there's nothing better than hanging out with your family, being comfortable, being warm, being able to just kind of relax. But it is good to go out sometime, everything. Maybe. So, okay, well, I have fun going out sometimes. But anyway, well, I guess that's enough of that, everything. So, Faith and Family, first episode.
That's right. Woohoo.
All right. So, tell the people, what can they expect from Faith and Family?
Well, it's funny because we're trying to figure out, how can we do a family show, a parenting show, a show where we can just equip parents with all things they need to know. We're definitely not the experts.
Oh, no, not
We're
by far.
in the thick of it right now.
Yeah.
with parenting. We don't have any little ones. We're in the more in the teenage realm right now.
Yes.
Definitely not the experts, but definitely want to be able to offer something and maybe have a conversation. And so we asked a bunch of our Destiny family some of the things that they were interested in, and some people wanted to talk about toddler tantrums.
Yeah, remember those?
Yes, we remember those. We had one in particular, the 16-year-old who threw a lot of tantrums. Was a bit much.
Yes, a little tyrant. But
yes, we called her middle name is Tiara, so we would call her, what was it?
We called her the tyrant. We called her the warden at one point.
The warden, the tyrant. But anyway, she's real sweet. So some people wanted to talk about toddler tantrums. Some people wanted to talk about how to help your kid at night, like if they're having nightmares, things like that.
Yeah.
And then a couple of people wanted to talk about how to talk to kids about difficult subjects.
Yeah.
So, we're at the age now, we've had to have some difficult conversations, as our kids have gotten older. And so, wanting to talk about that. And so, what we're hoping is that this faith and family, we'll be able to tackle a whole lot of those topics over time. But for this particular, the first couple episodes, we wanted to talk about prayer. And the reason why is because everything we do at our church, everything that a good foundation for our whole life, a good foundation of what we are as Destiny Church is built on prayer.
Yeah.
And so there's no better way to start when you're talking about faith and you're talking about family is to talk about prayer, and specifically how prayer is essential. So today, that's really what we kind of wanted to hit on, is how prayer is absolutely essential.
Okay.
So when you think about essential, that's been thrown around a lot in the past year.
Like essential oils and stuff?
Essential oils?
Yes. I'm sorry. Continue.
well, actually, I like essential oils. So, but in terms of like essential workers, the things that are necessary. So, thank God for our essential workers. Those people, our medical folks, our officers, all the people that make life work for us, that are important to our society. So we deem them as essential. So, you think about essential. What are some things for you in your life that you feel are essential?
Well, it's funny, like you said, that word essential. It has been, brought to the forefront this year. And as far as, like you said, with the workers, the first responders, the medical workers, and so forth. And if you look at essential, even just on a basic level, as far as like, well, what's essential to live? Water, food, shelter, clothing, protection from the environment, and so forth. All those things would be deemed, I think most people would say essential, but I think if we were to look at it a little bit deeper, as far as even like on a spiritual level, things that are, and not even just on a spiritual level, but things that are essential that I think of are like family, having relationships, having a good relationship with your family, connection with other people as well. I know some things that are essential in our household. Toothpaste. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Toilet paper, we found out this year was an essential. It was essential toiletry that I still don't put the connection together.
And we've heard you have a hoarding problem with toilet paper. Is that true?
I have a hoarding problem with toilet paper. No, I am sent to the store to get more toilet paper for my loving wife, who is making a doomsday shelter. But we won't get into that in this episode. That's for a later episode. But again, when you look at more of essential things, as far as like your family, your relationships that you have, and just spiritual, having a spiritual relationship with God, I think, is essential. Everything, which, and it's sad to think about it, a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, whether they've never been introduced to the faith, nobody's ever talked about faith to them, or even the ones that do, but they still don't have a true relationship. So. Right.
And so absolutely, those things are essential, including the toilet paper, absolutely essential.
Yes.
And so, one of the things here at Destiny, our vision is to help you discover and live out your destiny in Christ. And so in order for us to do that personally, and in order for our children to discover and live out their destiny in Christ, prayer has to be the foundation of that. Prayer has to be essential. And so when we think about destiny, we think about it in three different ways. We think about salvation, that your destiny with Christ is secure once you know Christ. You have to know Christ. So we think of that in terms of salvation, but we think about people's destiny in terms of discipleship, and that can mean a whole lot of different things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how we disciple our children, also leadership, and all those areas of our children's lives need to be covered in prayer. And so when we think about prayer as essential, when we think about prayer as our way of communicating to God, is his means by the way that we can talk to him and give our requests to him for our children, is absolutely has to be a foundational part of our lives.
Yeah, true. So
one of the things that when we think about prayer, one of the things is that it invites God into the circumstances of our children's lives. And so when we think about our wishes for our kids, we're just coming off of the holiday season. That's
true.
right.
Yes.
So our kids had a lot of wishes.
Yes, a lot of wishes.
Some good.
Yes.
Some not so good.
Yes.
Maybe.
Well, no, it's funny because our kids are at an age where when they were younger, it was easy. Just go get the biggest piece of plastic in the store, and they were happy. But now they're all of an age now to where they want specific things, and they want the most expensive things, and sometimes not realizing that mom and daddy don't have all the money in the world. So,
right.
So now they're at the point to where Anthony, he wants the expensive game systems, and he wants all the Legos and all that kind of stuff, and the girls. And I would just say this, dads, I had no idea makeup cost as much as it did. I'm used to like the little Rite Aid or the Walgreens little $10 makeup you could buy for them as a kid. I had no idea makeup cost so much. I'm thinking, hey, you want some makeup? That's easy. And then I'm seeing these prices. I'm like, oh my goodness, who knew? But I guess apparently I was. That's a learning lesson for me.
Yeah, it's a serious thing.
Yeah. So and then all the clothes that have to be the right cut or the right. I don't know. It's all
the Air Force Ones. I don't understand because they already have Air Force Ones. They want that. But they want them to paint or do something with them.
Yeah, it's all designer. I don't know. It's and I remember being that age. It was many years ago, but I remember.
Yeah, I remember when you were that age.
Yeah, exactly. We were 16. So, but I remember being into like shoes and all that, sneakers and all that kind of stuff. But it seems to have gone to a different level now. Or maybe I'm just getting old and I'm turning into my parents. So.
Well, you think about we're coming off the holiday season. Our kids had a lot of things that they wanted for Christmas, and they had those desires. And I think as a parent, we have desires for our children.
Definitely.
And some of those desires are God desires, the things that he's put inside of us, because he knows the destiny of our children. He knows why he created them. Yeah. And as parents, it's our responsibility to pray about those details of our children's lives. And so you think about the desires that God, the good things that God has put in place in our hearts for our children. I think about, I want to pray over, our children's spouses, whoever it is, that's important.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely.
Whoever it is that they're going to marry, we pray about their health. We want them to be safe. We don't want them to be sick. We think about all the desires we have. We want them to have the right vocation, whatever it is that the Lord has called them to do. True. What are some of the desires that you have for our kids?
Well, I think a lot of those same things, you pray for them to, I think most parents would want their children to be in a better off situation than what they were in. No matter whether you had a rough childhood or you had a great childhood, you still want better for your, for your child. And I think one thing we've always talked about is, having them the ability to make good choices, put a spirit of discernment into them, or for them to seek God and to seek his wisdom in making decisions, because, they're all at the age now to where decisions that you make now may have a impact on the rest of your life. The people you meet, the relationships you have, the relationships you nurture and continue to have can all have a bearing on the rest of your life. I mean, funny story, I'll divert a little bit here, but, my name is Gene. My whole family calls me Tony.
Right.
So when people would call my house growing up, well, you know very well, you would call, hey, Tony. This is back before everybody had their own personal cell phones. We had to share the house phone. Right. So, so everybody would say, hey, Tony. So, but in school, everybody called me Gene because a decision I made when I was in preschool, kindergarten.
Right.
Because I'm in there and the teacher asks, hey, everybody tell me what your name is and don't say a nickname. Now, Tony was my quote unquote nickname, but it was still a name. I think she meant like, don't say, like Ray Ray or Pookie or whatever.
Right.
So at that point I said, hey, well, my name is Gene. So for the rest of my academic years, my name was Gene, where if I had said Tony, everybody would have known me as Tony and it probably would have been Tony. So, I mean, I know that's a very superficial, surface level correlation, but, it's followed me to this day.
That's right.
And everything.
That's right.
So, but I think that's something that I want for our children to really, just to be able to make good choices and good decisions and to surround themselves with good people.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for people that are listening today that, we know that God has a destiny for us as parents. God has a destiny for our children. He doesn't leave things up to chance. And so as parents, too, we don't want to leave anything up to chance. And God has given a prayer to us as a tool to be able to invite him into our parenting, invite him into our everydays, into our circumstances, invite him into the lives of our children. And so since we don't want to leave that up to chance, we have to make prayer as an essential part. And those desires that he's given us as parents, whether it's the future spouses of our children, whether it is their jobs, their health, even their social circles. I know for me, I've prayed a lot that the Lord would bring valuable people that will pour into our children, that will be friends, peers, good peers.
Healthy
I've prayed,
relationships.
healthy relationships. I've prayed for the Lord to let them feel loved and accepted. It's so many different things that we don't want to leave up to chance. And so we have to pray. And so what I'm praying for is that those who are listening will really think about that. And something practical that I think that they can do, especially as we are here at the new year, is you think about your children, however many you have. We have 3. You could take a piece of paper out and literally list their names and what are those God desires that he's given you for them.
That's very good. Yeah.
What are those things? And write them down. Start a list.
Yeah.
And intentionally look at that list and start praying specifically over those things for your children. And if you keep that list, if you're consistent with it, I guarantee you that over the course of the year, you're going to see how God is answering those prayers.
Yeah. That gives you a good basis, a good good guideline, and it's fluid. You can always add on to it, and you can, if you need to take things away, or you can, add on to it as you need. But it's always a good basis for a starting point.
And one thing too that I think before we wrap up, it doesn't even have to be lofty things. It could be,
Well, that's the thing. People think it has to be, I have to pray for all of these.
Yeah.
It has to be big things like they'll be millionaires or whatever.
Exactly.
And there is no restrictions on what you can pray for.
Yeah, that's
it could
right.
be anything.
I mean, it could be, Lord, help me potty train this child.
Yeah.
I remember one of our kids, I won't say who, but I remember before they had to, before they could go to preschool, they had to be potty trained.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, Lord, please help this child to be potty trained. It could be help this child sleep through the night. We had one child that it was really hard. I won't say horrible. It was really hard to get them to sleep in their bed through the night because the Lord cares about all those things. And so whatever is on your list, it doesn't have to be some lofty thing in the future. It could also be something that is needed right now.
Exactly.
So you want to talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about next time?
On our next one. So, I think it's good. Definitely a good opening, a good start for Faith and Family. And if you made it this long through the show, then we would assume that you are interested in learning more about prayer and being intentional about prayer, and how prayer is essential for your family. So in our next episode, we're going to talk about how prayer needs to be planned and prayer needs to be intentional. But before we go, I'm going to leave you with a quote from one of the greatest coaches to ever live, Tom Landry, where he said, "Setting a goal is not the main thing. It is deciding how you will go about achieving it and staying, with that plan." How about them Cowboys? Anything you want to add, Miss Onika?
No, I don't want to add anything.
All right. Well, good job.
All right, high five.
All right, air high five or real high five?
Real high five. All right.
See you guys next time.